How would you like to find a social platform that is actually truly authentic to you, for at the same time you can be doing something that you enjoy and love and draw clients into you, that positions you as the authority and the person that you want to be to your clients? Well, Instagram might just be that platform for you. And today we're going to be talking with Melody Myers, who's going to go into all the details of Instagram and how it may or may not fit into your strategic view of technology. So Melody, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, so glad to be here.
Yeah, Melody is a 3-time international bestseller. She also is a keynote speaker and a business advisor to mission-driven entrepreneurs like us who have a message that's really important to them, and they want to go out and change the world with that message. She's also created some awesome things like the Ultimate Bestseller Formula and the Simple Story Formula. So we're going to talk a little bit about how Instagram has fit into her business and how she uses it to, well, she's going to tell you all the secrets of how she uses it. So Melody, thanks for coming with us. I wanted you to jump right in, and we like to start with the big picture strategy. Why do you think Instagram is good? Why would somebody else, what type of an entrepreneur, and if that was enough, for what type of audience does it work well?
Cool. Well, I got to tell you, I love Instagram. Okay. First of all, the Instagram platform itself is huge. I don't know if people understand what a big reach Instagram has, but it's like at 1 billion users right now, which is, yeah. And I mean, Facebook is 1.4 billion. Instagram has more than Twitter. I mean, it's a huge, huge platform. Everybody's going there, and why? Well, I'll tell you, it's visual. Okay, we think in pictures and we love to see things. Okay, it makes us feel things, and people love scrolling. So they go on the social platform. They don't always listen to it, but they're always looking, and they're just flipping through all these images, because that actually feeds this part in our brain that makes us feel connected and knowing and makes us feel alive. So people love the platform, all right? I mean, there are people who are literally addicted to it. There isn't a place I go in public, or if I can see over someone's shoulder what they're doing on their phone, they're flipping and scrolling through Instagram. Okay, so it's a huge opportunity. And and I know that's daunting for a lot of people, but just know that the platform itself has a lot of attraction. It attracts many different kinds of people. There isn't a niche that you can't find on Instagram. All right. So I love the platform too. I love the interaction that I've been able to get with people. And I find that it's a great thing to do for business. Now, not everybody uses it for business, of course, and you can have private accounts and so forth. And we'll get into some of the nuts and bolts of it in a little bit. But just understand that there's so many people on it that are looking for specific content, and they're looking for certain images that draw them in. And it's a great way to introduce yourself and what you believe and what it is that you do and your products and services to your ideal customer.
So why would somebody, Melody, choose to use Instagram? Because there's a variety of these different platforms that you can all use visual, you can use video, you can use pictures. Why would somebody choose Instagram over Pinterest, over Facebook, over YouTube channels? Help me understand that part.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Part of this comes to what you also enjoy doing. So I probably want to say, more than anything, I mean, any platform can work if you work it. Right? So it's not going to work if you don't work it. So it's always nice to choose something that you enjoy. However, that being said, there's going to be a little learning curve for any platform that you start. So, you know, getting to know and getting through, I like to do like at least a 10-day challenge with my clients to get them to commit. I actually, it's better if you do like 21 to 30 days. But at least a minimum of 10 days of doing it every day and being on it and really working it to see if it's something that resonates with you. And if it does, then you can just milk it. I mean, you can literally do anything on this platform that you enjoy that has to do with your business or not. And I'll explain that too. But this is really about like choosing a platform that you like and that you can be consistent with. Because it's not about what you do or how great your single post was. It's about the consistency that you have with it.
Yeah, and that is the trick. It is exactly finding that thing that has the least amount of energy that you have to overcome in order to be able to do that. So so what are the type of entrepreneur that might use Instagram, and for what type of demographic does Instagram seem to really shine?
You're kidding me, right? So with a billion users, there is actually no industry that you couldn't use this for really effectively. I mean, all the big brands are on Instagram. And so if you just want to get like a taste of what people are doing, and they're using it in different ways, because there's many different strategies with Instagram. Okay, it's not just one way. But if you look at all the big brands, they are using it. So yes, it's not an advertising service. Okay, so brands aren't getting on there and just going, here's my product, and buy this, and I have that, and that kind of thing. That's not what's happening. What Instagram is really good for is providing a very small, it's either an image or a very short video, under a minute, that engages people immediately. Okay, so it's got to be visually stimulating, and so that people are drawn in and they want more. So anything that's lifestyle oriented, or has humor, or that is very compelling content visually, is what's going to draw people in. Now, if you have a business that doesn't have a lot of visual,
a mortuary.
Mortuary. Okay. Well, see, now there would be a great challenge. I would love to work with you as a mortician.
I'll find one.
Because you want to come up with a visual aspect that might be unexpected and interesting. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever seen, this was actually used as an example for YouTube, for instance, but have you ever seen the YouTube videos with the guy that blends everything,
Yes.
like the blender thing?
Blendtec.
Right? Blendtec, right? Okay, so he takes something that's so like mundane and everyday, and he does something that you wouldn't do every day with it, right? So that would be the challenge if you're in an industry that's not necessarily, like, of course, there's obvious ones like beauty and fashion and those
Right.
kind of things, obvious, right? But mortician, like, what are you going to do? There might be some things you actually could do with Instagram that would help your audience, that would, it doesn't have to be funny per se, but if you could come up with something funny, that'd be good. But maybe it's just a series of memes that are very thoughtful, and
Right.
so you have to have a theme. You want to have a unique point of view, and so that people know when they see your things, they recognize you. Okay, and so again, that consistency is what's going to make a difference. So the look, if someone goes to your page, and they don't go there often, not gonna lie, okay, it's not like people are searching for, like,
It's not like Facebook where people are on it all the time.
Yeah.
Why would you go do that when you couldn't you do the same thing on Facebook?
You can, but again, with the Facebook algorithms, it's much different about like what feed you're going to be able to see. Whereas I'm finding with Instagram that the people that you follow, that you are that you look at often, that you interact with, are the ones that they're putting up for you to see. So if you've got some good content and people are looking, or they're pausing, or they're interacting with you, which is what your goal is, that's actually, they're going to see that much better. And any kind of content that you put on there that gets eyeballs, Facebook owns Instagram, and they're using similar algorithms, but the setup and the delivery of it is very, very different.
I see. Yeah. Okay. What do they cross reference each other?
Yeah, and I love that. So I am on Facebook, but I'm never on Facebook, if that makes sense. So
yes, you don't go directly there.
No, I push everything from Instagram to Facebook. And it's awesome because if I format it properly for Instagram, it works great on Facebook. And I'm reaching actually another audience that is that likes Facebook more and is hanging out there. And you know what I'm finding? Now, this is totally anecdotal, but that it's much younger group on Instagram. Yeah. And then it's sending it to their aunts, uncles, moms, grandma, and grandpa.
Their parents.
Over.
Our kids are on Instagram. Wait, that. theory doesn't work because you're on Instagram.
Well, I've always been a little bit younger than maybe I was.
Yes, you have. And at 87, you look fantastic.
Thank you, please. No, stop. But really, the younger crowd is scrolling fast through Instagram. They're able to, I don't know, they can see things faster than anyone I've ever known.
Oh yeah, they are like lightning fast with those thumbs. They're just like whang. It's like they need to do thumb wrestling world championships. Okay, all right, great. So then, if somebody wanted to go ahead and start doing Instagram, I know that there's pictures, and didn't you say there's also videos that people can use too?
Yes.
Okay, but short.
Yes. Well, there's three aspects of Instagram. There's your post, okay, which is your actual tiles that you see like on your Instagram page. Mm-hmm. And there's also your story, okay? And then there's IGTV. Now, Instagram TV is an actual video platform, and it has its own app, but it's also attached to the original app as well. Mm-hmm. But you can set it up as a separate app. Now that you have up to 10 minutes on Instagram TV, but it's all vertical video. Okay. Now, if you're a verified Instagram user, you have an hour on Instagram TV, and they are making some episodes and really trying to set it up as a channel. Okay. It can be challenging for a lot of people because it is a vertical format, and it's doing horizontal so they can put it up on different platforms. But there is a lot of advantages to being a young adopter or an early adopter. Young person, an early adopter for IGTV. There's a lot of people on that, and it's gaining a lot of momentum. But back onto the IG app, you have the story, which now also you can do on Facebook too, right? Mm-hmm. Where you can actually upload pieces of video. And those videos each are 15 seconds. Now,
that is short.
It's very short. However, if I was to put up a 30-second video, IG now will let you put both up there. It's just they're done in 15-minute pieces, 15-second pieces. Mm-hmm. So you can do something longer. It didn't used to be that way, but it is now. So you can go a little bit longer with the story. So you want to come up with a strategy for story because people love the story. I get more views on my stories than I do on my static posts, okay? So even if they're videos. So I highly recommend stories. And I'll tell you what my personal strategy is. It shouldn't be the same for every person. But you do need to make a decision about your strategy.
Right, yeah, for sure. Okay. And how it fits in the overall, your strategy of Instagram, and how that fits in your overarching strategy of your marketing and promotion.
Right. Now, I don't personally, I don't have a lot of time to spend on social media. It's not how I get the majority of my clients, but I love to have it out there, and I do get clients from it. So, and I enjoy it, but it can be a bit of a time suck if you're not very disciplined on how it is that you're going to use it, right? So I make my own memes, and I put up tiles for my regular page. And then I use my story to do more like behind the scenes, more video, more speaking directly to the people who are watching it, showing things, sort of like a look inside my life and what I'm doing today and so it's not, of course, I do a lot of work, so that might be what the story is about that day, is a conference that I'm at and people I'm meeting and pictures of them and maybe even pieces of the conference in there. But it is more behind the scenes. I want that because I want people to know that every time they go there, it's going to be something different. Mm-hmm. And it's like you coming along on my life.
Right.
So that's how I use Instagram story. But it also means that I don't really post every single day something on my as an Instagram post. Right. I sort of put those out less frequently, but I'm on my story every day.
Okay, I see. Okay. All right. Can you, for those of us non-Instagram people,
Yeah.
how do you distinguish between your story on Instagram and just posting?
Yeah. So you don't have to, like, you literally could do the same thing that you do on your posts. But here's, if you can have your Instagram as a personal Instagram, or you can have it as a professional one. And for some people, that's the same one. And for other people, you know, you might want to have them separated. So just so you know, you can have an Instagram account that's private as well.
Right.
So you can have a personal one that's private, and you only have it, you know, give it to your family and so forth, and be sharing family photos and things that are happening with you and all that kind of thing. And people ask to, you know, they want to follow you, you can say yes or no. So that's a nice feature for people who want to use it personally, or even if you just want to try it for a little bit and you're a little bit scared, it's a nice way to dip your toe in the water. However, I would recommend having a business account. It doesn't cost anything, but you get a lot of analytics. Okay, so Instagram will give you all kinds of analytics around how many people came, how many people stayed, who's watching your story, how many, what time of day, who it is who's coming, male or female. I mean, there's amazing.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah.
I know, it's great. And I love seeing, because you can actually start fine tuning like what time you should be posting, which will get you the greatest engagement. The goal here is not just about people seeing your life and going, oh, nice. Okay.
I want to be Melody.
I really believe in authenticity, and you'll find if you look at my Instagram account, like I do a lot of personal sharing, but I also do have a lot of fun. And so I kind of run the whole gamut with that, because I want, you know, my brand is about authenticity and about being imperfect, which is totally rad. I've made it super cool to be imperfect.
You are super coolly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect.
I mean, this is my premise anyway. But when I went, so as a business account, when people come to my page, I want you to be able to look at it and know, like, it all comes from the same person. It has a similar theme. I'm very much into positive messaging, good self-talk, self-awareness, empowerment. These are the kinds of messages that I like to work with on my Instagram account. Does that mean I can't sell something once in a while? No, of course. But I don't want to fill my feed up with just a bunch of, oh, look at these kitties, what they're doing. Like, that is more something that my dog just looked at me and went, kitties?
He's your ideal client, right, of your kitty shot.
Well, that might be something I put on my story. It's like, oh, I'm visiting my friend who has these cute kitties. And
I see. Okay. Right.
That is not something that I'm going to put on my professional page that has a lifespan. Okay. So those things can stay there. I mean, I've got things that have been on there for years, and they're still consistent with, you know, with who I am, what it is that I do, and what I want to stand for, and the messages that I want out there. Right. If I were to post on my my actual posts all the things that I thought were interesting, you wouldn't get a sense of me. You get a sense of what I was seeing. If that makes sense. Right. So it's not my branding. You have to be pretty clear about your brand, your values, what you believe in, and get those across in your images.
I love that. I love that. So what are the biggest mistakes? So I see how you have a consistent thread of authenticity and what is true to you. And then you can use the personal, the story, if you just want to like take people on your personal journey, but the rest of it, you try and keep it in a similar, consistent brand and theme, because as you mentioned, that's going to be there forever. So what are some of the mistakes that people make when they start using Instagram?
Well, they're not clear about what they're doing as far as their brand. Okay, we're talking about for business, right? So yes. You have to have a brand and know the values of that brand and what it is that you want to be doing. And I really suggest going with some kind of a theme, some kind of an overarching view, a point of view. We mentioned that earlier. So that you actually have some consistency around your brand, so people feel like they are getting to know you. Now, the way I use story is not the way everybody use a story. I wanted to use that as an example though, to just show you that you want to make a distinction on how you use these different pieces, and then be consistent with that. So that's how I use story. I know other entrepreneurs that use their story as an opportunity to do shout outs to some of their fans, right?
So, so just for clarity's sake, because we're using story, I'm hearing maybe that we're using story in a little bit different definition. So there's your story on your Instagram story, like on Facebook, it's your story. Yes. But and there's like using storytelling in the context of your posts and your branding and your signature talks and those kind of things that. When you said at the beginning that when you use a story and you're evocative, people are more engaged. So that may or may not be on your actual Instagram story.
Right. So yeah, let's differentiate between that. Usually I call it messaging rather than story, only
right.
to differentiate between them. Yeah. But the story piece, that the Instagram story, it only lives for 24 hours.
Oh, that's good to know.
Okay, so it only lives for 24 hours. So that's why you can do very transient kinds of things. And then you can save them. And in highlights, there's a thing, an area of Instagram called highlights where you can keep the ones that you want under different kinds of categories, similar to categories you would have on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
So people can reference those pieces of your story that you want to keep.
Nice.
Otherwise, you're evolving, you're going through those really, really quickly. That's why I don't mind, like, it's usually on a walk or a quick interview with somebody, something much more spontaneous that's in the story rather than in the post itself.
Yeah. Oh, I like that, because then, you could be a redhead one day and then go black. Like, you give you an opportunity to just play and not have to be seriously. And it's not about your stand. It's not about your life purpose. It's just like, woohoo, today I had, oysters and peanut butter. Doesn't that look good?
Yeah. That's what is on brand.
Yes. Right. So then, but you were also talking, which I always found very interesting, like the idea of story. And I know that since you're on Instagram now, you've had to kind of modify that and to have it be, I think you said under a minute, kind of that is hard. Yeah.
So I actually came up with a formula to get that into a minute because I had to do that for myself, right?
Right.
I had to create some kind of, and maybe I'm going to say message rather than story right now, just because we know what we're talking about. But if you think of every video that you're making as being some kind of message, and it has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? You can't leave people hanging. You want to have some kind of introduction that's going to pull people in and make them watch. How are you going to actually create that art and actually communicate what it is you want to communicate in less than a minute? Okay, so there's so many pieces to this that I literally had to break it down and create a few different kinds of templates so that you can really like say what it is you want to say and get to what you want to, and still look authentic and not look like it's too rehearsed. Okay, as soon as something looks like a commercial, you're done. Okay, they're not going to stay with you, right? So a minute-long commercial, no, that's not going to work. But there's lots of ways to engage people, and so they want to watch what it is you're going to say. And people ask me all the time about the technology, like what do you need to actually, make a video, to actually shoot something and make it look good. And the truth is, all you really need with Instagram, all you really need is your phone, and you need some light. And even if it's dark, light enough so they can see your face, see your eyeballs.
Yes.
And remember that most people, when they're scrolling these things, they don't have the sound on.
Right.
Okay, so you want to make sure that it's engaging enough that they go, oh my gosh, she's talking and it looks like this is a really fun place she's in. I want to hear and then they turn the sound on and come back to it when they can listen.
Right.
So you have to get that story in under a minute. And it's not something you have to edit or anything, but you can. I mean, it just depends on how much time you want to take on these kinds of things. But again, not making it look too polished or too commercial like. You can really get some good content out there and get people very interested in what you're doing.
Well, I love that, and I like that you're trying to take away the tech from it, because otherwise it becomes so like overwhelming. It's already overwhelming trying to think of how you're going to do something in a 1-minute story, like tell your story in 1 minute. So I'm going to be excited to have you tell us what that formula is.
So here's the thing. You have to know who it is you're talking to. I mean, who is your audience? Who do you want to attract more of? If you're very clear about that, then you need to understand what it is you want them to feel. Okay, what feeling do you want to evoke with this message that you're going to be giving? Okay, a lot of people don't think about that. They think of they're so focused on the words. Okay, words don't matter. It doesn't matter if you stutter. It doesn't matter if the words are right. Okay, if the feeling, if you get that feeling out of them, that is where relationship is built, is in the feeling that you evoke from them and that you give to them. That energy exchange is what's most important. So you got to get really clear about that. Then you got to know exactly what call to action you have, what it is that you want them to do. Now, the purpose of Instagram and using it in your marketing strategy is to engage. You want engagement. So you want to engage with them and you want them to engage with you. So your call to action might be something simple like just asking a question or having a poll, or like, it's not just about like a call to action, like selling them something or sending them to your website or something. It can be that sometimes.
Right.
Okay. But a call to action just meaning like share this with a friend, or put a comment in and tell me what your favorite color is, or whatever the call to action is, but it's something that initiates engagement with them. Okay. So when you have all of these and you've done all that work, it actually takes longer to do that work than it does to actually do the video itself.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Because the video is going to be under a minute, but you'll be so clear because you did all that work. So at the beginning, it does take a little time to work through the template and to come up with the answers to all of those things. But once you do, then you're just riffing. It's not memorizing, word for word something, or you need a teleprompter or anything like that. You should be able to go on a minute very easily on a subject that has that means a lot to you, and that is going to mean a lot to them once you share it with them.
Right. Okay. So if somebody wanted to get started, so you have this formula, this template that people can use, which you're going to share with us, and you have a special prize for them. We'll tell you about it in a minute. But so you use that template, but how do you actually get started when you're doing Instagram, and what do most people kind of foul up when they first start this process?
Okay, so you have to decide what you're going to use it for. So if you are going to actually use it for business, you need to open a business account. If you've already got an Instagram and you just haven't been using it, I really want to challenge you to give it another shot. Okay, with these ideas that we talked about, set up your profile properly. Okay, get the right picture in there. Start engaging. Stop worrying just about what you're posting, but also start looking at what other people are posting and engaging with them in that way. Start having a little bit of fun. Lighten up a little bit.
Fun.
Right? What? Okay, and then and so that's if you have an account and you're not using it. If you have been using it, you want to, but you haven't been getting any traction from it, or you haven't been getting customers from it, it might be because you're trying to sell. You're trying to use it, for marketing, and you're not using it for entertainment, which is why people are on there. Okay, they want to entertain. So you need to sort of change your strategy a little bit. That's fine too. But if you've never been on it, okay, it's very easy to get started. So you just want to do that. You need to just download that app and start following the simple steps. But your profile is important, letting people know who you are and why you're there. And then is
a profile a little bit like a LinkedIn profile, like your
Yeah, it's like that in that it uses words.
And there's a picture involved.
Yeah, that's about it. Okay, this is not your LinkedIn profile, unless, of course, you're, well, I can't even imagine that. You got to remember what this platform is for people who are visual and they're fun and they want to engage. They're not there necessarily looking for business and business people. So you don't necessarily have to be wearing your suit and do a lot of formalities like that. In fact, it's really great when you use some emojis in your profile that you are actually simpatico with the platform. Okay.
So it's not so much about like YouTube. We just finished with an interview with a YouTube fellow in it, which is all about education and really creating a platform and content. So this sounds like it's a little less of that and a little bit more a reflection of who you are as a brand and things that you, like you talked about their values and the brand, the values, and a little bit of content, but it's really a reflection.
So you would love for what you're doing, your messages that you're putting in there, for them to want more. So they would go to your YouTube channel, right? So that they can get that education. But you're not going to necessarily educate them, except for if you have the long format IGTV. You're not educating on this so much as you're implanting messages and creating interest and building relationships. I've actually built relationships with absolute strangers on Instagram just because they resonated with my photos and with your description that you put to your photo isn't just describing your photo. It's an opportunity. You could almost use it like a blog, right? Where you can actually say what you're thinking about a particular subject that the picture is just indicative of.
Oh, so like with a post, it's like the whole post, you can actually write things, not just pictures or memes.
Yeah. No. You can use the picture to attract them. And then in the description part, that's where you get to use your hashtags and you can actually say something of substance. Mine have started getting longer and longer, only because I've been getting so much engagement from them. People love what I write, what the story is that goes with the picture. So that's the opportunity there too.
Yeah, because you love stories. So how much engagement do you have to do to have it be, oh, that's probably not well worded. How much do you have to talk to these people?
Wow. So, you don't have to do everything yourself, just saying, but it is nice when you personally take the time to look at other people, like people who are following you, either following them back or at least going and looking at theirs and liking some of their content and so forth, and asking questions and answering questions. So if somebody takes the time to write a comment on your Instagram feed, it's your opportunity to find out who they are and why they were attracted to that and why they took that time. Because remember, most people are just going like this, like just scrolling, right? But if someone stops and goes and types you a message, that's a big deal. So the opportunity is to really build relationships with people. It's a long-term play.
It is a long-term play, and it's just an extension, because you said you can you're not really on Facebook, but you use Instagram, and then it goes out into Facebook, and then you ultimately, these folks become potential clients of yours when you go to offer a course.
Yes.
Oh, a course.
Oh, a course. I know. I'm so excited. Actually, Dr. Cynthia, thank you so much for letting me be here with everybody. I would love to offer your folks that are here to actually get into this messaging course that I'm doing, Master Your Message in a Minute. It's called the Simple Story Formula. And I'm going to be doing a live course with people, so it's very interactive. It's all online, so it'll be easy to get to. And but it's really about getting your message so you can do those videos under a minute. And it's going to, you do have to work, right? You have to.
Well, that takes practice. That's not easy. It's easy to expand. It's not easy to contract.
Well, and that's why it's not a workshop where it's like you're going to get a bunch of lectures and you take notes and then go home and try it. It's actually going to be very interactive so that we can fine tune your message and get it down under a minute.
Nice. I love that. And so they can go ahead and And you're going to give that to them at a discounted rate, or how's that?
No, honey, I'm giving it at no cost. Okay, this is a
Wow.
course that I usually charge $9.97 for. Okay, but for your group, I'm giving it at no cost. You do have to show up and you do have to do the homework and things like that. And we'll be
Yeah.
going over that. But yeah, no, it'd be my pleasure to give that to people because I really want, see, I believe that everybody has a message in them that could actually change the world. It's just getting it out of you.
Yes.
So,
Pulling the teeth.
and then when we get out, like then videotaping it, and which is another hurdle for people. But when you practice and when you work on it and you start building that confidence, you know, it makes it easier so you can take that same template and use it for all your messaging.
Yeah, that's tremendous. Thank you, Milka, because I know that that would be really valuable for speakers, super valuable for speakers to be able to try and get succinct. So you can use that anywhere, and you can use it for what's typically called an elevator pitch, but you can also expand it to where you've got 10, 15 minutes to give a short introduction, like at a networking group or something like that.
Or your Instagram post.
Or your Instagram post, so you can learn how to rock those out in under a minute. So, all right, well, thank you so much. I love that gift. So what I'd love to have you do right now is I want to just recap what we went over, what your strategy is on Instagram, how you work with it in terms of its interaction with Facebook, and then how people can get started with that, and any of the other important points that you think people should remember.
Okay. Probably the most important thing about any social media platform is about consistency. So I would challenge you to actually decide on a period of time that you're really going to work it. Okay, so you can get used to it and get the feel of it and actually look at it. So that is going to take some time, I understand, but give it a chance. It is a growing platform. I mean, it's huge already, but it continues to grow every day. And learning how to adopt these things into your marketing strategy, I think, is smart. Okay, this is the future. This isn't going away. Okay, it's getting more and more popular. So consistency is going to be important, and you don't try to overdo it to begin with. All right, just think of your theme, think of who it's for, think of things that are visual about you, your values, your brand, and what it is you want to be getting out there. Your name is important, your profile, those kinds of things are important, but the rest of it, the content itself, you want to try some different things and see what really resonates with the people that you want to reach.
Right. I love that. And so people can, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, because the profile is very important, in my opinion, just because people will go to your page and see who you are. If any of your people would like to do a session with me, I'm happy to do a 15, 20-minute free consultation on just their Instagram profile, if anybody would like that help. I know when you're starting in a new technology, sometimes we just need a mentor to like take us by the hand and walk us through it.
And crack the whip over us.
Well, maybe a little bit of that, but I'm happy to crack away.
Yes, you are a good cracker. All right. All right. So listen, you can get that gift if you poke downstairs where it says free gift. Melody will have those links available for you right there. And thank you, Melody Meyer, for being here. I love the 1 minute messenger and 1 minute message and how you're going to pull that down with your story formula. So thank you for that offer. I love that. And I just appreciate you being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Always good to be with you.